So, anyways. So, Imane Khelif is an Algerian boxer. She participated in the Olympics that just, I believe the Olympics just ended. So, the controversy is, supposedly, Imane Khelif has XY chromosomes, even though we haven't seen any documentation on that. People are sticking to that story. Have not seen any study or any medical records produced on that. Just no. But these sort of like sexist and transphobic people are saying that this is actually a man, blah, 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 blah. This is cheating. Let's see. Who explained it really well? This guy. Because I'm bad at explaining things from the beginning. Also, I'm just jumping back into streaming. It's been so hectic because on top of like vacationing, my apartment did an inspection like the day before I left for camping. And then with that inspection became like, there was like a bunch of like repairs that need to be made. So I have to get in contact with like, because we have some rats going on. So like I have to get in contact with like pest control. And then there's like an issue with the dishwasher. So I have to talk to like maintenance people, and then like somebody came in and checked in the heater. So I've got like 5 different people like coming into my apartment and like doing appointments and stuff and like coming in and fixing things. So I really just haven't had a chance to sit down. So a lot of today is like me catching up myself. Like I'm trying to figure out what's going on here with this situation. So I saw this earlier and I thought it was really good. Let's listen to it together.
This is one of the most cruel and unfair.
All right. Let's turn up all the sound. I thought this is pretty well said.
This is one of the most cruel and unfair situations I've ever seen happen at the Olympics. 25-year-old Algerian boxer Imane Khelif is a biological woman and competing in the welterweight division at the Olympics in Paris. In the round of 16, she went up against this woman, Italian boxer Angela Carini. Now, Carini decided to
she went up against this Italian boxer Angela Carini.
Retire in the fight after 46 seconds because she got punched in the face 2 times extremely hard.
So she was they were in the ring together for like 45 seconds, and the Italian woman like bagged out because she got punched twice, and she's like, I've never been punched so hard in my fucking life.
So Khelif moves on to the quarterfinals and all is well, right? I mean, how could this situation be unfair or cruel in any kind of way? Stay with me.
So it's like, so what? This Algerian woman boxer won. She punches really hard. So what? Well, here's where the controversy starts.
Khelif's victory, a firestorm of misinformation and lies took over the social media world. Some of those lies were that Khelif is a biological man and a transgender woman, and that she was taking advantage of a loophole in the system that gave her an unfair advantage against the other women. Well, as they say, a lie can get halfway across the world before the truth ever puts its pants on. But as a defense,
a lie can get halfway around the world before the truth puts its pants on. I kind of like that. I would never say that, but I like the way that goes. Pooks, it's like it's boxing. They get punched in the face, right? You know, maybe you're just up against an opponent that is really fucking good.
Of truth, I did my research, so buckle up. Imane Khelif is not a transgender woman or a biological man. Imane Khelif is a woman. She was born that way and has identified that way her entire life. This little girl is Imane Khelif. Not only is she a woman, but she was born in a country in Algeria that it is de facto illegal to change your gender. And in a country like Algeria, they would never allow a transgender woman to represent them at the Olympics.
Yeah, the whole accusations that Imane Khelif is actually like transgender, like she was born a man and like transitioned to a woman. That's ridiculous because in Algeria, it's literally illegal to be transgender. You can't change your gender. There's no markers for it. There's no social support for that. Like, it's not happening. So why the fuck would Algeria put this woman up for representing their country in the Olympics if she wasn't actually a woman? That makes no fucking sense at all.
Khelif has been competing in boxing in women's categories since she was a child. Because she's a woman. And even competed in the Tokyo Olympics. All of this backlash stems from the IBA, the International Boxing Association, banning not only Imane Khelif, but also Chinese Taipei's boxer Lin Yuting from the 2023 World Championships because they stated that they failed eligibility tests for females.
What is that test? You know, it's so funny, these anti-trans people or whatever, or these so-called radical feminists that are against Imane Khelif, like, they keep pointing out that her and another woman failed the eligibility test for females. What the fuck is that? And why aren't we seeing the results of that? Why aren't we seeing the details of that? Doesn't that strike you as strange? It's like people don't care to get past that part. They're like, oh, well, they failed the test. It's like, what is that test? Like, you've heard about it for the first time. How are you so confident in this so-called test? It makes no sense. What is this fucking test? This eligibility test for females. And can we take that test? Is it standardized? Can we take that and apply that to all women? Because I bet you $1 million more women would fail that than not.
The only thing was the IBA never showed any evidence. Imane Khelif and Chinese Taipei's Lin Yuting have both been competing in women's boxing at the top level for...
Yeah, where's the evidence? Where's this evidence? I've yet to see this direct evidence of Imane Khelif and this other Taiwanese woman failing this eligibility test for females. That just sounds ridiculous.
Years. They didn't suddenly come out of nowhere and claim that they were women, because they've always been women. In fact...
And that's another good point. Like, they never just suddenly, like, started saying, well, I'm a woman. It's like they were born women. They grew up women. They never, at one point in their life, were, like, boys, and they're like, no, I'm actually a girl. Like, that never happened.
If you even dig even deeper, the IBA actually allowed Khelif to compete in the 2023 World Championships, and they only disqualified her after she beat a Russian boxer by the name of Azalea Aminova. Why is that significant? Well, the IOC had actually given recommendations to the IBA that they don't allow Russian boxers to fight in the World Championships, and certainly don't let them fight underneath the Russian flag. We all know why.
Interesting.
So now, if you do the research and you pay attention, you'll see that the IBA has nothing to do with the Olympics anymore, and that's because the IBA has been flooded with corruption. Have had a
Wait, so the IBA has nothing to do with the Olympics? So the IBA said that Imane Khelif failed this eligibility test. But the IBA has nothing to do with the Olympics. The Olympics has their own, like, structure, their own system of checks and balances. And they're like, this is fine. Like, why aren't we talking about that?
lack of financial transparency, and countless instances of corruption within the refereeing and the judging. International Olympic Committee even put out a statement, not because they were trying to cover their tail, but because they were trying to protect this young woman from the hate and discrimination that she's received over the past couple days. The IOC has confirmed that Khelif is a woman. If you do any research, you will know that 5 million women suffer with higher testosterone levels than most females. But that doesn't make them a man.
I just, bodies are so versatile, and there's so much biologically that could just, be fucked up. I'm honestly amazed with the process of pregnancy, natural pregnancy, without any influence whatsoever. I'm surprised that bodies come out right. No joke. With all this cell division, it's amazing, we all don't come out mutated in some shape, form, or another. So it's like, who gives a shit? Why are we using that as the focal point of how to, socially interact with people? Who cares what their biology is? Who cares whose chromosomes are what? Why would you socially interact with somebody? Why would you treat somebody based on what chromosomes they have? That's weird. That's strange. Why would you do that? Who cares? I don't give a shit. Why should you?
Listen to Irish boxer Amy Broadhurst, who fought and defeated Khelif in 2022. Amy said, and I quote, "I don't believe she's done anything to cheat. I think it is the way that she was born that's out of her control. The fact that she's been beaten by 9 females says it all. This young girl is not a man competing against women. She's a woman who's being unfairly judged. When Khelif was 16 years old, she used to have to defend herself against boys in her own village because they would throw punches at her. That's how she got into boxing. But her village didn't have a boxing center for her to go train at. She actually had to go to another village that required her to take a bus. But she didn't have any money for the bus fare. So Khelif sold scrap metal and her mom sold couscous so they could afford the bus fare for her to chase her dreams. Imane Khelif is not a biological man or a transgender woman. She is a woman. So make sure you get your facts straight before you decide to speak on or bully someone else. Khelif should not be a part of your political narratives. She should not be used to push your own agendas. And if you're trying to protect women, or protect your daughters, you should be protecting Khelif. And if you're not gonna do the research, then you're the one that we need protection from.
Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah. Shout out to this man. I don't know who this guy is. Is this guy? Robert Griffin? Yeah, I'm gonna follow that. That was pretty good. I like that. We'll see. A little thing. This is Imane Khelif. Look at that. I don't know if that's copyrighted or not. But I mean, it's like, why should we have to see imagery of Imane Khelif in makeup with her hair curled to believe or be convinced that she's a she? Like, it's kind of ridiculous. So let's see. I like Al Jazeera. I think that's how you pronounce it. Al Jazeera. I like this publication. Like this media outlet is like pretty good. They cover things pretty well. Let's see. Christopher Smith says, it's a problem that people who don't do their research and just take things at face value. The media does that a lot. It's true. But you know what? The problem is it's not so much the media itself. It's people who have a high profile status and have a lot of money who are just running their mouths and they're just like, no, this is a man. No, this is a man. No, this is a man. Couple of those people are J.K. Rowling, author of Harry Potter, who is like a notorious transphobe, like anti-trans person. She literally, for those of you who don't know, J.K. Rowling, the author and creator of Harry Potter, she's active on Twitter, and for like the last year and a half or so, give or take, everything she posts, talks about, references, reposts, comments on is all trans issues, and she is just vehemently anti-trans to the point where like she's even said, I would gladly go like to court in lawsuits and even serve jail time to tell the quote unquote truth that all trans women are just simply disturbed men having a fetish and wearing woman face and trying to erase women. It's really insane. So now that we know all these people are coming out and saying these things, and for example, some of the stuff that JK has said, JK Rowling says, could any picture sum up our new men's rights movement better? The smirk of a male who knows he's protected by a misogynist sporting establishment, enjoying the distress of a woman he's punched in the head, and whose life's ambition he just shattered. So she's referring to Imane Khelif as a he, as a man, and saying, like, this is a smirk on the face. Now, I've seen plenty of pictures of J.K. Rowling, and if we're going to talk about people smirking, let's take a look at JK's smirk. Does she ever actually smile? Or does she just fucking have the same goddamn shit-smelling smirk? Like, she has the look on her face like she just farted. And she's looking at you to see if you're like just when you're gonna smell it. That's all she looks like she just farted and she's waiting for you to smell it. Literally. Like that is just like her constant, like she never fucking actually smiles. So who the fuck is she to talk about like smirking when like she has one facial expression. One fucking facial expression, and it's this. It's this. It's this. It's this same fucking look. This woman's face is just a perma, like, I'm waiting for you to smell my fart. Hi, Mark. Good to see you. She may be the most smug and unreflective author alive. No, seriously. Like, why is every one of your fucking, like, portraits looking like your author's portrait for the back of your book? Anyways, and Elon Musk also was, like, agreeing that a lot of people were agreeing, like, oh, Imane Khelif is just a man. The problem with that... Oh, yeah. Oh, back up. So, Imane Khelif fought that Italian boxer, Angela Carini. And Angela Carini, initially, because she purposefully forfeited the fight and said, I that's too hard, I'm being punched too hard. And tried to fall in line with that idea that Imane Khelif was not a woman. Later came out and apologized, like, shortly afterwards about that. So, Italian boxer Angelina Carini has apologized after quitting her bout at the Paris Olympics in 46 seconds. A viral moment that has led to online abuse of her Algerian opponent, Imane Khelif. Khelif, a 25-year-old light welterweight, landed a heavy... read, Jan. Read. So, a heavy first punch in the Thursday's bout with Angelina Carini from Italy, dislodging her chin strap. Subsequent blows pushed Carini back to her corner before she dropped to her knees. Following her loss to Khelif, Carini did not shake her opponent's hand. She was really upset. She didn't think that was fair. Some spectators watching the match later raised questions about Khelif's participation, citing a 2023 decision by a now discredited boxing regulator to bar her from a women's tournament. I think that's very important to note. That Khelif was originally discredited, was originally, like, revoked participation due to a failing some sort of test for females. But this boxing regulation, like this whole organization that said that Khelif was not woman enough to fight in women's boxing, has now been discredited. Nobody talks about that. I don't see that conversation a lot. Whenever I see people reference, like, oh, she failed the test, she failed the test, she failed the gender test, they don't talk about the part that the people who said, the organization that says she failed is now discredited for having some serious problems. We're not having that conversation. Why? Because they don't want to. Because that doesn't support their narrative. Anyways, yeah, some spectators watching the match later raised questions about Khelif's participation, citing a 2023 decision by a now discredited boxing regulator to bar her from a women's tournament. The International Olympic Committee, IOC, however, strongly supports her participation in the 2024 Games, with IOC spokesperson Mark Adams saying that she was born female, was registered female, lived her life as a female, boxed as a female, has a female passport. This is not a transgender case, Adams added. Carini apologized Friday for her treatment of Khelif, saying, I'm sorry for my opponent, she told Italian outlet La Gazzetta dello Sport. If the IO said she can fight, I respect that decision. It wasn't something I intended to do, Carini said. Actually, I want to apologize to her and everyone else. I was angry because my Olympics had gone up in smoke, she said. Well, I mean, that's what you get. You compete for the Olympics, you're going to come across opponents who are also really good. You know, she might have been the best in Italy, but you don't know how that best is going to compare to the best of some other country. You know, that's the nature of the game. That's the whole point of the Olympics. It's all about that sort of sportsmanship. Oh, hi, Maura. Good to see you. Thank you so much for the super chat. I really appreciate that. Hello, hello. Anyways. The fight has, however, become a flashpoint for an often misinformed debate about how women are allowed to compete in sports. It's also triggered an onslaught of online abuse with transphobic commentators incorrectly calling Khelif a man because of an alleged physical advantage. As Khelif prepares for her next fight on Saturday, here's what to know. Okay, so we already did that. This is like an old... We're already past that part right now. Anyways, so... After Imane Khelif, won her medal and the Olympics are over, she decided to come back and drop a lawsuit. And frankly, good for her. Not only will this be a justice served and a big movement to actually protect women, this will be a motion to protect trans people too, trans women and trans women alike. This is going to be a big step for both of us, which is usually the case. When you get into trans rights, it's going to encompass women's rights too. Because when it comes to transphobia, it doesn't end at trans people. It targets women as well. As you can see, this boxer... who is not trans, doesn't know I don't know if she doesn't know anything about that or not, but, it has nothing to do with trans issues or trans anything, is somehow being targeted in this light. So, Algeria's Imane Khelif files harassment case again after gender row. Imane Khelif, Algerian boxer at the center of the gender dispute in the Paris Olympic Games, has filed a legal complaint against social media platform X. She's suing Elon Musk, I'm telling you. Get that good X money. And you know what? I hope she doesn't start there. I hope she goes for Tesla money, too. That's fantasy talk, but, I can dream. The gold medal winner's lawyer said on Saturday that she filed the formal complaint in France. Khelif and another gold medalist, Taiwan's Lin Yuting, have been at the center of a high-profile dispute over gender identity that has provoked a heated debate on social media. Citing court documents, the French newspaper Le Monde reported that the boxing champion filed a complaint against X with the Paris Correctional Court, the National Center for Combating Online Harassment. Khelif's lawyer, name I'm going to murder, so I just won't even try. Because they deserve better than what I do. So anyways, said the complaint was filed on Friday. The boxer Imane Khelif has decided to begin a new fight. A fight for justice, dignity, and honor, he said it in a statement, as he announced the complaint for aggravated online harassment. And they did this to the Paris prosecutors. All that is being said about me on social media. This is what Khelif says. All that is being said about me on social media is immoral. I want to change the minds of the people around the world. Go Queen. Individuals in the complaint were described as important political figures. That's got to be Trump too. Because I think Trump said something in light of it saying, like, I will not allow men to be in female sports. So with the wide followings on X, the social media company owned by Tesla and SpaceX CEO Elon Musk, he's part of it, the target. The post targeting Khelif exceeded 100 million views. Wow, 100 million views. Yeah, well, the speculation was fueled by malicious individuals. The investigation would determine who is behind this misogynistic, racist, and sexist campaign, but will also have concerned itself with those who fed the online lynching. So it's not just J.K. Rowling And it's not just Elon Musk. It's going to be a bunch of other people too. I just don't think we're getting that information yet. There is rumor that Jake Paul might be a part of that lawsuit, but I don't think that's confirmed. I don't think he's actually in it. He's definitely one of the ones who were like, this is insane. We're letting a man compete in the Olympics. And it's like, no, bitch, sit down. So the 4-year over Khelif's eligibility drew fire from the likes of former United States President Donald Trump, Harry Potter author J.K. Rowling, and several right-wing French politicians. All right. God damn. What is it? What is this? A video? Okay, I guess we don't get to watch that. Do we? Or do we not? Was that a yes or a no? Okay, that was a no. After her gold medal victory on Friday night, Khelif said winning was the perfect response to attacks and bullying and declared, I am a woman like any other. The questions regarding Khelif's and Lynn's gender were sparked by the International Boxing Association, right, the IBA, which is now disbanded. At a news conference last week, the IBA Kremlin Link president Umar Kremlev claimed that the organization had run genetic testing that shows that these are men. Okay, where's the tests? Where's the tests? Where are these tests? Do we get to see these tests? Do we get to see these tests? Where is this genetic testing? If it's such a big deal, why are we not seeing this important bit of information? Does anybody else find that a bit strange? That we're all losing our minds over this supposed test that we don't actually get to see the results to? If anybody has those results, let me know. Send them my way. The IBA threw both boxers out of the World Championship in 2023. The International Olympic Committee, however, cleared them. The International Olympic Committee cleared them both. Okay, so is the Olympic Committee just chopped liver? Is this other boxing organization better or higher or more knowledgeable than the literal Olympics Committee? I don't think so. Following a yearly round victory for Khelif in the ring, Rowling referred to the boxer as a male and accused her of enjoying the distress of a woman he just punched in the head and whose life ambition he just shattered. Trump declared in capital letters on his social truth outlet, I will keep men out of women's sports. His vice presidential nominee, Shady Vance, argued that Kamala Harris' ideas about gender have led to a grown man pummeling a woman in the boxing match. Yeah, because Kamala's opinion on gender issues directly led to Imane Khelif, winning the boxing match. That makes no sense. How would that... Insane. But anyway, she's suing J.K. Rowling. J.K. Rowling is so notoriously transphobic that, frankly, I'm all for this. Let's see. Here's another piece by J.K. Rowling. J.K. Rowling has been absolutely silent for the last week, which is extremely unusual because she posts every single day on Twitter, multiple times a day, about trans people. She does not take a break. For her to be silent, either she's shitting herself or excited. And I think she's excited because I think she wants this. She wants this as an opportunity to be the sort of white knight, the Mother Mary of TERFs. And TERFs is a term for trans exclusionary radical feminists. Let's see, watch this whole thread, then explain why you're okay with a man beating a woman in public for your entertainment. This isn't sport. From the bullying cheat in red and all the way up to the organizers who allowed this to happen. This men reveling in their power over women. So, in JK's mind, her philosophy is that trans women are just men trying to erase women. Is this whole conspiracy. She's a conspiracy theorist. Totally. J.K. Rowling is a conspiracy theorist. Let's see. Imane Khelif's father had to come out and make a statement saying like, no, this is my daughter. Which is like sad that a father has to come out and be like, why should I have to prove like my daughter is my daughter? I haven't seen this. This came out today. I haven't seen it yet. Let's check it out.
Algerian boxer Imane Khelif is now taking legal action after being defamed by individuals like J.K. Rowling and others on Twitter, who all falsely claimed that she's a man. And that rumor still persists till this day. For example, after she won the gold medal at the Paris Olympics, we got this headline from the International Family News website, which reads, "Male Algerian boxer Imane Khelif wins gold medal in women's Olympic boxing." And judging by the multiple grammatical errors in that headline alone, I would assume that the person who wrote this isn't very bright. But the reason why so many people still think that she's a man is because online transvestigators have all confidently concluded that she is definitely.
So, transvestigator. So if you're a normal person and you're not like a part of this world, transvestigator is like a transphobic, anti-trans person who constantly looks at other people and looks for clues to see if they're trans or not. So it's like, instead of investigation, it's transvestigation. And this goes really funny, and I think we're going to take a little side note right now, because these transvestigators are so intense. They literally transvestigated Andrew Tate. It's really fucking funny. Andrew Tate we've covered like multiple times on this channel. Like, he's like the notorious misogynistic man. But like, straight up, conspiracy theorists claim that Andrew Tate is trans after a not very revealing swimsuit pic goes viral. Where's the picture? Where is the picture? I gotta see it. It's really funny. Where is it? Where is it? Oh, come on. Why are you not showing it here? Jesus Christ. Do I have to go to Twitter for everything? It's this picture. So Andrew Tate posts this picture. And immediately transphobic people start examining his crotch. Why anybody would want to preoccupy their mind with Andrew Tate's crotch, I don't know. Don't ask me. I don't think about people's crotches. But, as you can see, people are really zooming in there and wondering, hey, Andrew, where's your manhood? So immediately, wait, I love what this guy says about this. Drag queens will write dissertations on this tuck technique. But anyways, this is how insane like these transvestigators are. They're determining that Andrew Tate is actually a trans man based on this picture alone, which is really funny because Andrew Tate is like one of the most misogynistic people in the world. So for transphobic people to be like, wait a minute, you're actually a woman, it's just like a weird irony. Anyways, transvestigators have gone so deep that they've even started to circle back with Dylan Mulvaney and say that she's actually a woman. Like, they're doing it reverse style. Transphobes. Let's see. It's like a reverse transvestigation of Dylan Mulvaney. I totally butchered that name. They're not showing it again, but I can explain it to you. So Dylan Mulvaney, they have gone back full circle and said, no, Dylan Mulvaney was actually born a woman, born a girl, was forced to be a boy, and was put on puberty blockers, and now she's transitioning back into a woman. Like, they have gone full circle with their, like, craziness. My Google searches are the best, thank you. Don't look at my search. Anyways, going back to this, Imane Khelif suing J.K. Rowling. Somebody needs to sue J.K. Rowling. I swear to God, somebody needs to J.K. Rowling really does need a moment to put her money where her mouth is. Like, if she's willing to, she needs to put up or shut up. Like, seriously. She keeps saying, and that's been her whole point. That's been why J.K. Rowling has, like, the audacity to keep running her mouth about trans people. She's doing it on purpose because she's waiting for somebody to sue her, and she's waiting for that moment to, like, make her statement. But you know that phrase, be careful what you wish for? J.K. Rowling might have that moment. She might have that moment. I don't know how this is going to pan out. You can't say anything is for sure. But she might have a moment where she's going to really wish she hadn't wished for that.
Only a man. And she can't possibly be a woman. But she's not a man. She is she's a man is because online transvestigators have all confidently concluded that she is definitely a man. And she can't possibly be a woman. But she's not a man. She is a cis woman and has always been a woman, has always identified as a woman. Her Algerian passport says she's female, and that's really important because trans identities are literally criminalized in Algeria. But those inconvenient facts have not stopped people like J.K. Rowling from knowingly spreading this lie about her. For example, on August 1st, J.K. Rowling tweeted, "Could any picture sum up our new men's rights movement better? The smirk of a male who knows he's protected by a misogynist sporting establishment, enjoying the distress of a woman he's just punched in the head and whose life's ambitions he just shattered." But it didn't stop there, because she kept tweeting lies about Imane Khelif. She retweeted people who continued to call her a man 6 days after she initially called her a man, and she made additional tweets insinuating that Imane Khelif was indeed a man who was beating up a woman. So after helping to spread the rumor that Imane Khelif was a man, J.K. Rowling continued to tweet about her a week later while still insisting that she was a man, even though that had been thoroughly debunked. Now, that right there is textbook defamation. And over the last couple of days, J.K. Rowling has conspicuously gone silent. Now, I don't know why that is, but perhaps it could be because she senses that maybe she got herself into a little bit of legal trouble. Because as Variety reports, J.K. Rowling...
You see, it's that same smirk. She never actually smiles. Google J.K. Rowling. Look up her pictures. She never actually smiles. She just does the smirk. She does the smirk like, I just farted and I'm waiting for you to smell it.
Rowling and Elon Musk have both been named in a criminal complaint filed to French authorities over alleged acts of aggravated cyber harassment against Algerian boxer and newly crowned Olympic champion Imane Khelif. Nabil Boudi, the Paris-based attorney of Khelif, confirmed to Variety that both figures were mentioned in the body of the complaint posted to an anti-online hatred center of the Paris Public Prosecutor's Office on Friday. The lawsuit was filed against X, which under French law means that it was filed against unknown persons. That ensures that the prosecution has all the latitude to be able to investigate against all people, including those who may have written hateful messages under pseudonyms, said Boudi. The complaint nevertheless mentions famously controversial figures. J.K. Rowling and Elon Musk are named in the lawsuit among others, he said, adding that Donald Trump would be part of the investigation. Trump tweeted, "So whether or not he is named in our lawsuit, he will inevitably be looked into as part of the prosecution." And to that I say, good. I am rooting for Imane Khelif here, because what they did is not okay. What happened on his platform is not...
I'm pretty sure, like, I gotta say, I'm pretty sure J.K. Rowling is probably really excited that this lawsuit is happening, but I don't think her defense team is happy. And she's been silent for the last week, which I said is extremely unusual for her, so I think her lawyers are just like, shut up! Shut up! like, lady, unless you want to, like, pay more out of pocket for this bullshit, you might want to put a little cap on that.
Okay. Now, it makes sense that Donald Trump has also been named in this lawsuit because he's part of the smear merchants who tried to claim that she was a man beating up on a woman. Now, he hasn't stopped lying about her since he initially made that one defamatory post on Truth Social. For example, at a recent rally event, he spread the widely debunked smear that she's a man. Listen.
And I'd like to congratulate the young woman who transitioned from a man into a boxer. You saw she won the gold medal. How about the young Italian, beautiful Italian boxer? She got in there and she didn't know what was going on, and she was a very good boxer, you know, against other women. She didn't count on this. And he's up here, boom, one little jab, whoa. She goes, nobody ever hit me that way. Then he goes, boom. And she said, okay, I had enough.
Boom.
It's crazy what they're doing. And this person won the gold medal. Did they win the gold medal today? What do you think of that, Tim? I don't think Tim likes it.
Nobody cares what Tim
Greg, no
thinks.
good, right? Now, how crazy is it? How crazy is it? For 4 more years, crazy, and she won.
Hi, Susan. Good to see you, Susan. We love Susan. Everybody say hello to Susan.
She wants men to play in women's sports.
So they simply refuse to stop lying about her. She is not a trans woman. And to be clear, it wouldn't be a problem even if she were a trans woman, because trans people are people.
And I think that's why trans people are behind this too. Because it takes the line between transphobia and misogyny, and it completely destroys it. Because when you experience transphobia, especially trans women, when they experience transphobia, it's heavily rooted in misogyny. It's almost, you could say that transphobia doesn't go as far as trans people. It goes further into women. And as you can see, we have a cis woman here who is being a victim of this transphobia, and it's going too far, and people are going to realize it's far enough. It's too far. She's going to come back and sue and say, no, and it's going to do great things for both women and trans women.
Trans women are women, but she's not a trans woman. And being trans in her country is literally a crime. So you're not only spreading disinformation by maliciously calling her a man, you're potentially inciting harassment and violence against her in her home country.
I think that's the thing with these people like J.K. Rowling, women who are highly against trans women. It gets into the thing, well, men can't be women, but then you're gonna start categorizing what is a man and what is a woman, and what the qualifications for each is, and the markers for what determines if you're a man or a woman, and they're going to apply it in a way that's going to backfire. And here's an example of how. They're going to say, here's this cis woman, well, she punches too hard. She has strong facial features, like muscular body, that she doesn't look quite like a woman, so now that it's got to be a man, right? So it's very misogynistic at its root. Transphobia is misogynistic at its root. It doesn't stop at trans people. It goes beyond, and it harms and targets cis women, and it puts women in a box. So every time a woman comes out of that box, if a woman is strong or doesn't look feminine enough, suddenly they're labeled as a man. That's fucked up. That's some fucked up bigotry right there. Like, these people think that they're protecting women, but they're destroying everything that's meant to be a woman.
It's extremely fucked up, and they're doing this all to prove some political point here at home. The Olympics is not even relevant to the U.S. election, but he's trying to say that Kamala Harris supports this here, and he's trying...
Hi, Elise! Elise, I didn't even see Elise. Hello, Elise. Good to see you, honey.
To use this as the example of what can go wrong if you allow men in women's sports, but she's not even a man. She's a woman.
Cassie says, way too many of these she's trans accusations are really just, she's not pretty in a feminine way I like. Yeah, that's pretty much what it is. She doesn't look womanly enough. She doesn't look feminine enough. She doesn't give me enough. And these transphobic people who love to transvestigate and see if somebody's trans or not based on their appearance and this weird phrenology bullshit. It's always it's just on looks, and they always say, oh, I can tell if somebody's trans or not. It's like, no, you can't. Obviously, look at you now. You can't fucking tell. You just told the cis woman that you think she's trans. She's not. Now what? You know how people have a gaydar? They act like they have a transdar, and their transdar is shit.
So the example is terrible. That's just not happening. But even though those 3 people were named because they were spreading misinformation, the attorney made it very clear that they'll also be asking the prosecution to go after others that use their big platforms to spread this lie about her as well. That includes J.D. Vance, Logan Paul.
Also, I gotta keep in mind, this whole test that she supposedly failed with this boxing organization, the boxing organization is now disbanded. And it has nothing to do with the Olympics. Nothing. And we've never even seen the results of this test. At all. I haven't. If it exists, please show me. Like, let's see. We're all freaking out about this supposed test that she failed. We don't even see any evidence of that.
Riley Gaines, Chaya Raichik, Charlie Kirk, all of them lied about her and called Imane Khelif a man. So we're not sure where this is going to go, but I hope they're also investigated as well, because anybody who spread this defamatory lie should absolutely pay the price for that. But it's a little bit tricky since this is being filed in France. However, her attorney says that a prosecutor could make requests for assistance and even cooperation, legally speaking, from other countries such as the US and the UK. And I think that they're expecting the anti-bullying laws in each country to be applied to the case here. But we'll have to wait and see. I don't really know how this is going to play out. But in the US, it's very hard to prove defamation because you also have to prove malicious and
it is extremely hard to prove defamation in the US, and here's why. Typically, the way it works, if somebody makes a defamatory comment about you, the way it works is that person who made the defamatory comment has to prove that they knew it was defamatory to begin with. So if you get a crazy person who genuinely believes that, like, Immanuel, why do I say Immanuel Kampf? Who the fuck is that? Who the fuck is that in my brain? Imane Khelif saying that she's really a man, that's a defamatory statement. But if that person actually genuinely believes that she's really a man, the defamation case falls short. The person has to prove that they willingly, knowingly spread a lie. Now it's opposite in France. In France, you have to prove your defamatory statement is true. They don't care if you really believe it or not. You have to prove it's true. So it's really, it's a little, and we're going to take a look at some French laws of defamation here after this video.
Which is very difficult to do. However, the standards are much lower in the United Kingdom when it comes to defamation, and cyberbullying laws that they have in EU countries might kind of help to bolster Imane Khelif's case. So listen, I hope she wins and takes every fucking penny she can from J.K. Rowling. Drain her, because the abuse that she went through cannot be overstated. Now, I'm not going to get into the specifics here. We did a whole video about that last week, or the week before, actually. I'll link to that down below. And by the way, some of the screenshots in the video that we did of tweets might be useful in discovery for Khelif's legal team. So, you know, just FYI if anybody wants to send this to them. But the effect that this has had on her reputation and mental health cannot be overstated. It has been profound, and it is deeply sad that she went through all of this for nothing. So on August 4th, she actually broke her silence about all of this bullshit and said this: "I send a message to all the people of the world to uphold the Olympic principles and the Olympic Charter, to refrain from bullying all athletes, because this has effects, massive effects," Khelif said in Arabic. "It can destroy people. It can kill people's thoughts, spirit, and mind. It can divide people. And because of that, I ask them to refrain from bullying." So she's saying, as politely as she possibly can, hey, bullying is bad. We should not bully athletes because it could be really destructive for them. Saying, hey, this is kind of taking a toll on me as well. Please don't do this. But they never stopped. There are people till this day on Twitter insisting that she's a man when that's not true. It is so fucked up that she has had to deal with this. And I've got to say, it really says a lot about her character and how resilient she is that she put up with unprecedented...
Oh, I mean, not only is she a magnificent fighter in the ring, she's a fighter on the inside, too. And I to me that makes a real true blue genuine fighter. You can get guys that are tough and women that are tough, and you put them in a ring and they'll box your lights out. But like, what does that say about their like internal like integrity and things like that? Like, this woman is so strong, and this lawsuit that she's taking on, like, honestly, she's kind of my hero at this point. Like, I'm so inspired by this. This is amazing. Like, keep going.
Abuse, and then went on to still win the gold medal. For me, I feel like I would be
Hey, MC Heavyset, good to see you. Says, how late am I? Does the Wednesday live stream start at 6 p.m. Pacific? It's kind of the same time as Friday. So I always set the stream to start at 5:30 p.m. Pacific time on Wednesdays and Fridays, but I don't always start specifically at 5:30. It's kind of between 5:30 and 6 that I start, depending on like when I'm ready or not. So it's the same on both nights. Ooh. Sorry. That was not polite. I'm sorry.
and wouldn't be able to think about anything else. My head wouldn't be in the game, but she still won. That says a lot about her. It shows you how amazing she is and how talented she is. But even though she won, make no mistake about it, the bullshit that she endured made it so much more difficult for her. Variety continues, quote, Khelif's coach, Pedro Diaz, told Variety that the bullying Khelif endured during her run in the Olympics incredibly affected her and everyone around her. He adds, she's so smart and has such an amazing motivation, he said, adding that her gold medal win felt like the most rewarding victory of my career as a coach. I bet. And, you know, I'm sure that victory was so much more sweeter after putting up with all the bullshit that she put up with. But the fact remains that she shouldn't have had to deal with that. And he had to tell her to not look at social media because he thought that it would distract her, because all of the abuse that she was receiving was so destructive. But I mean, it was so loud.
Well, that makes sense. And then I'm sure after all was said and done and she won her gold medal, then she takes a step back and like takes a look at social media and says all the shit like J.K. Rowling has been saying and stuff, and is like, you know what? Fuck that.
And so overwhelming, I'm assuming that she heard at least some of it. That's why she spoke out. Now, she doesn't speak English, so probably she didn't see everything that people said about her, which is a good thing.
You know, that's a good point. Yeah, she doesn't speak English, so why should we expect her to read it either? So I'm sure a lot of these comments had to be, like, translated.
But, I mean, she knows that people are calling her a man, and I'm sure that that's not good for her self-esteem. I'm sure that it hurt her feelings at a minimum. But, I mean, I think that this is going to do long-term damage to her self-esteem and mental health. And that's so sad, because she...
Brent says she is ripped, she is strong. She is. She's a very muscular woman. And it's so sad, like, when women get strong, when women get muscular, suddenly they're just... people start equating them to men. Why can't women be strong and muscular and athletic? Like, why do we have to have this, like, constant idea of women in our heads where it's, like... the soft hips and the soft Renaissance egg belly and, you know, like the perfect melon tits. Like, it doesn't make any sense. Like, women are all shapes and sizes, just as men are.
Should be celebrating this moment. And she's been working to get here since she's been a little girl. Her dad didn't want her to box when she was young because he didn't think that was a sport that was appropriate for little girls. But she did it anyway, and she's a gold medalist now. She also grew up impoverished, yet...
Cassie says it's because it's threatening to some men. No joke. There is nothing more threatening to a man, and I'm not saying all men, just like the misogynistic men. There's nothing more threatening to them than a woman with strength and power. And can, like, beat their ass. Like, they don't like that. They constantly want to keep women in this position of they're soft, they're dainty. And even in women's sports, it's all just, like, soft, dainty ladies competing against other soft, dainty ladies. It's just, like, it's so ridiculous. Like, they're just acting like Imane Khelif is just a dude, which she's not, but they're acting like she's a dude going around like Mike Tysoning like dainty women. Like, what the fuck?
She defied all the odds to become as successful as she is. So like her story is one of those stories that is inspirational. But yet, despite what she's been through and accomplished, she just had to endure one of the largest global...
Also, can I just say, nobody gave an absolute fuck about women's sports until all this trans bullshit started happening. Nobody. Nobody cared about women's sports. Nobody had anything to say until this whole trans panic started. Suddenly now everybody's like, protect women's sports. Protect women's sports. Oh, the precious women's sports. You never gave a shit about that until now. You never cared. Why? Because you didn't consider women's sports as real sports. Now that we have this weird trans panic thing, now women's sports is special and we have to protect it. And it's like, from what? From what? You're protecting women from accelerating in sports too hard? Really? Because when a woman is as athletically in proportion as a man or can compete with a man, suddenly they are a man too? Doesn't make any sense. Yeah, exactly. Susan says if they wanted to support women's sports, they'd give more money to it.
Global harassment campaigns in modern history, all because transphobic dipshits think that she's trans and want to prove a point about how trans people are bad, and they're using her. But this story proves that transphobia doesn't just hurt trans people, even if they are obviously disproportionately affected by it. Cis women are also hurt by transphobia, and it's not okay. None of this is okay. And I genuinely hope that she gets every penny she can from these cretins.
Because you get these transphobes all riled up, and then they look at a cis woman, and if they have any suspicion that like they're not feminine enough, they're gonna punch them out like they're a man. And this has happened before. I can't remember the case, but there was a case of like a cis woman where some guy came up to her and like punched the shit out of her because he thought she was a trans woman, and she wasn't, because she didn't look feminine enough. Maybe she had like a sharp jawline or something, but it's like, that's justification enough to these weird ass people to punch somebody.
Alex Jones lost everything.
Actually, I think she was murdered.
Because of the defamatory lies that he told about the victims of Sandy Hook. And nothing would make me happier to see the same exact thing happen to J.K. Rowling.
Oh yeah, they're kind of comparing this to like, they're hoping that Imane Khelif is going to get the same justification as the whole like Alex Jones case with the school shooter, and him going out and saying that it's all lies, and there's like actors, and he like tortured those families so much that they turned around and sued him for every fucking thing that he was worth, so much so that he cried.
I want her to take everything she can from J.K. Rowling. So
Me
I'm
too.
rooting for her, and I have no idea how long this is going to take or whether or not it's even going to go to court or trial. This could be settled out of court, but either way, I just hope that there's justice, and I hope that she finally gets some peace of mind.
I honestly, if this doesn't go to court, I would love it, at bare minimum, if J.K. Rowling had to settle and pay her a certain amount of money and then issue a public apology. That would be... Because J.K. Rowling has used her money and her financial privilege to silence other people when they came out and told her that she was transphobic. There's been like a handful of people that have had to issue apologies to J.K. Rowling for saying what they said. I would love it if the tables were turned. J.K. Rowling had to pay some money and then issue an apology. Fucking, I would love it. But she won't. I know she won't, because J.K. Rowling's pride is too high. So I think she's going to take this all the way to the end.
After having to put up with so much abuse. Shame on anyone involved in this defamatory campaign, but Imane Khelif, just know there are people who support you and who are rooting for you.
Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. Play stupid games.
I am a huge fan of Imane Khelif. She is my hero. I hope she wins this lawsuit. I hope this goes somewhere.
ولكن مباشرة بعد ما صارت ضجة كبيرة من طرف سياسيين كبار في العالم ورياضيين كبار في العالم وحتى فنانين ونجوم.
رئيس أمريكا السابق، ما أغنى رجل في العالم إيلون ماسك تحدثوا عنك.
تحدثوا عليا إيلون ماسك، ترامب. هذا الشيء اللي أثر فيا، ما نكذبش عليك، أثر فيا تأثير كبير، انضريت ضر كبير. ما نقدرش نوصف لك كمية الخوف. كنت متخوفة أنه قلت لماذا إيمان خليف يصرى لها هذا الشيء، لماذا الحملة من طرف جميع العالم من سياسيين كبار. تخوفت، ولكن الحمد لله قدرت نتجاوز هذا المرحلة بفضل أطباء الذهنيين الخاصين اللي كانوا يساندوا فيا، اللي تجاوزت هذه المرحلة. وش راح نهضر لك على هذه المرحلة ما يكفيش، هي مرحلة كانت طعم وذوق صعيب بزاف، ما كنتش ننتظر فيها. سيناريو كان رهيب ورهيب جدا. الحمد لله أنه كامل الجزائريين والعالم العربي يعرفوا إيمان خليف بأنوثتها، بشجاعتها، بإرادتها.
مثلا نتحدث على الرئيس السابق للولايات المتحدة الأمريكية اللي هو في حالة حملة انتخابية الآن وصار يقحم هذا المصطلح وهذا الموضوع، كذلك إيلون ماسك. ماذا تنتظرين من هؤلاء؟
والله أنا ما نحبش ندخل السياسة في الرياضة، ولكن هم دخلوا السياسة في الرياضة. الرياضة هي رياضة والسياسة هي سياسة، اللي كل طرف طرفه. نقول هذو السياسيين اللي انهم ظلموني ما عندهمش حق انهم يقولوا عليا اني متحول جنسي. هذا شيء عيب وعيب كبير لعائلتي وشرف عائلتي وشرف الجزائر ونساء الجزائر وخاصة العالم العربي. العالم كله يعرف اني انا بنت مسلمة. انا اللي قدم اعتذار ونقبله، اللي قدم لي اعتذار اكيد راح نقبل اعتذاره، واللي ما قدم ليش اعتذار كاين ربي. انا نوجه رسالتي انه انا انثى ونبقى انثى وشرفي قبل كل شيء.
I had to like move my picture out of the way because of the words there. I think we pretty much get the gist. I mean, like I said, J.K. Rowling has been completely like quiet. Let's go over these a little bit for the France defamation stuff. Okay, so like in France, defamation is taken seriously and the legal process for handling defamation case is quite structured. Here's an overview of the process, because I was like, what's the process of defamation cases in France? This is ChatGPT, by the way. Anyways, definition of defamation. Defamation in France is defined as any false allegation or accusation that harms the honor or reputation of an individual or an organization. It can be oral, written, or through any form of media. Legal framework. Defamation cases in France are governed by the law 29th July 1881 on the freedom of the press. This law outlines the procedures and penalties for defamation. Filing a complaint. The alleged victim must file a complaint within the public prosecutor for directly within a region. The alleged victim must file a complaint with the public prosecutor or directly with a criminal court. The complaint should detail the defamatory statements and provide evidence. In some cases, mediation, or consultation is attempted before the matter proceeds to court. So they're probably in the consultation thing right now. Once a complaint is filed, the public prosecutor or a judge will investigate the claim. This may involve gathering evidence, interviewing witnesses, and analyzing the context in which the alleged defamation occurred. Defenses against defamation. In a defamation case, the defendant can argue several defenses. Truth, providing that the statements made were true. J.K. Rowling is not going to be able to prove that her statement is true. She really isn't. She's going to have a hard time proving that, because her statement is Imane is a man. That's not going to work out. So anyways, good faith. Arguing that the statements were made without malice and were intended as a fair comment on a matter of public interest. J.K. Rowling is also not going to have an easy time with that. Okay, she definitely meant malice. She can say she didn't all she wants, but she meant malice towards Imane. 100%. In J.K. Rowling's mind, this is not an offense because she is protecting women in her eyes, but it's not gonna work in her favor because ultimately she meant to hurt Imane. Privilege. Certain statements made in specific contexts like preliminary debates may be protected. Yeah, she doesn't really like go in there. Anyway, 6th trial. The case goes to trial. If it proceeds beyond the investigation stage, the trial is usually held in a correctional court, which handles less severe criminal offenses. Both parties present their arguments, evidence, and witness testimonies. The burden of proof is on the plaintiff to prove that the statements were defamatory. I think they're going to have a pretty good time of that. Let's see, penalties. If found guilty of defamation, the penalties can include fines, various based on the severity of the defamation, imprisonment, though rare, it is possible, especially in I don't foresee anybody being imprisoned on this, like J.K. Rowling isn't going to go to jail. I just foresee her paying out the ass with money. Damages. The defendant may be ordered to pay damages to the plaintiff. Yeah, she's going to be paying in damages, I bet. Publication of the judgment. The court may order the publication of its judgments in the newspaper or the media to restore the plaintiff's reputation. Yeah, so I honestly, at worst, I think J.K. Rowling's going to pay her money and issue an apology. That's the least I hope for. That's the least I hope for. But then again, this thing is brand new. It's just in the beginning stages. We don't even know if this is going to court yet. See, appeals. Both parties have the right to appeal the court's decision. Yada, yada, yada. Civil versus time limits is 3 months. So this has got 3 months before it's going to hit the fan. More information. Yeah, I'm not reading all that. Interesting. So yeah, we'll see how this goes with the Imane Khelif. Godspeed. I really hope she gets something out of this.